Well, hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to the RFL Season 1 Race 3. Correction in the title there, it's Race 3. Here in Spain, the circuit to Catalunya. Delta Lima here on the comms this evening. We'll shortly be joined by the one and only Van Rocco. He's just making his way up from the grid after his little grid walk this evening. So here we are in Spain, RFL League. So if you haven't watched the RFL League before, it is a realistic performance league, hence the R. All cars are realistic performance. Drivers are signed by team principals who can then hire and fire as they deem wish. Each team has a replacement driver amongst them, as well as a whole bunch of other reserves within the league. So this evening we are doing full qualifying, followed by a 50% race. Let me just get my telemetry and everything ready, and we'll find out. A few yellow flags on the track. Looks like someone's already gone off at turn 1, turn 2. Not quite sure who that was. Not sure at all, but there is definitely a car off at turn 2 according to the map. It's disappeared now. So we are streaming here live on the CCR network. On the CCR network is a whole group of different leagues that you can watch from different formats. So on a Friday night we have the RFL League. On a Saturday evening we have the Nemesis Racing League, which kicks off tomorrow night with the first race of the season on F1 2021 in Bahrain. And then on a Sunday morning in the UK, a Sunday evening in Australia, we have the PAFR League as well. And then a Sunday evening in the UK, Monday morning in Australia, we have the SFR Switchback Formula Racing League as well. So let's get this underway. We've got quite a few drivers out on track already, and it looks like SMM Mercy is going to be the first one to set a time. So we've got 2 times in straight away. SMM Mercy 1:15.753, Forza Ferrari with a 1:16.7, both in the Red Bulls, and Satomiki has done a very slow 1:25.780. And looks like who we got coming across the line next. Holmes is just about to start a lap, as is Forza Juve. Katsu is out on his fast lap at the moment. Is currently dealing with yellow flags in front of him with a bit of traffic from the Alpha Tauri by the looks of it. Hopefully he won't impede him too much. And we spoke too soon. Not sure which Alpha Tauri. Yeah, the Alpha Tauri, Forza Juve there getting in the way of him. The Red Bull there getting a bit violent, which looks like Forza Ferrari having a bit of a scrap, trying to come into the pits there. Wouldn't be surprised. Yes, so there it is. 5-place group penalty for Forza for that incident. So the Alpine of Omega gonna bust ya. Love it. Omega gonna bust ya. Set at 1:21.292 in the Alpine. Willans tonight driving a Mercedes. Should be able to put in a decent lap time here. Relatively quick driver in a lot of other leagues, and of course here in the Mercedes he's in the fastest car. Caught second only by the Red Bull in pace, but we have seen the McLaren, here in RFL put in a really good performance. So that's better. We get a bit of sound finally on the stream. It's finally kicked in. As we're watching, Willan's just coming through, did a 50.020 in that middle sector. He's got a yellow flag coming through the third there, but it doesn't impede him. So Willan's obviously on a strict track limit, so he won't take his usual line here for the last couple of corners, but does keep it nice and clean and nice and tidy. And let's see what he can do with it as it comes across the line. Well, a very good 1:16.206, only 8 hundredths off of his teammate this evening, Nicholas Latifi, on track there. Got some yellow flags in sector 3 coming up to the first corner. So Q1, only 15 drivers will go through to the next round. It already looks like just Jose, Maxi and Gabriel are out. So all Code Pedro needs to do is just set a lap time and he will be okay. He could preserve those tyres nicely, doesn't need to push them, just needs to get across the line. There we go. We were trying to be a good lap time. Spins it there in the Alfa Romeo through turn 6 and 7, but just needs to get across the line. Doesn't need to massively force the car off. Brakaction is on his hot lap now, still set time. He's out on the medium tyres, so he won't be using those in Q2, so he's getting them out of the way. Silent also out on the medium tyres. And Blues 245's also used a set of medium. So they'll be looking to run the soft tyre in Q2. MC dives into the pits on his in lap. Personally, I'd suggest if you're looking to make it through to Q3, you're potentially going to want to try your best to do fastest lap time in Q2 on the medium tyre. So you don't want to waste them just yet. So who else we got out on track? RR Silence on a very, very slow lap there. Not sure what happens. It looks like he invalidated his lap. Angelos, WLK Angelos, did I just switch to you just in time to catch a reset to track there, young man? Very cheeky, very cheeky. So, Code Pedro, the only other driver still out on track on a lap by the looks of it. Brakaction, it's just started a new lap, he invalidated his last one. So in that Ferrari, he's currently sitting P7. Doesn't necessarily need to set another lap time. The only driver at risk is Kaotsu 02. So he just needs to come out, put a lap time in, doesn't need to be competitive, and he'll make it through. So while we wait for everyone to sort themselves out, let's just talk a bit about the track. We've been racing here in the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya for 61 races. First race was back in 1913, so well before I was born, for those of you that don't believe I'm actually young. So 61 races over that time. The two most successful drivers here are the GOAT himself, Michael Schumacher, and then closely catching him in all of the records with Lewis Hamilton. Both have won here 6 times. But it is Michael Schumacher with that Ferrari that has set the most constructors winners. So Ferrari have won here 12 times, and Mercedes have won here 9. But in this league, what we've seen is these McLarens are relatively quick. They're third fastest or third most successful constructor here in real life with 8 wins. And in this league, they're doing really well, the McLaren team. I did say in the Discord the other day, my money is on the McLarens for a win, a constructor's win this season. They've done really well to keep it up at the top of the league table from the first couple of races. So talking about the tables, so Mercedes are at the top with 77 points in total. McLaren F1 team have got 45 points. Red Bull Racing on 31. So still very close going into this third race at the top. All it will take is a win from any team to jump the points back up. And the likes of Aston Martin on 18 and Alpine on 14 also still well in there. As expected, at the bottom half of the table you've got Alfa Romeo with 6 points, Williams on 6. Surprisingly, Scuderia Ferrari on 4 points and Alpha Tauri on 2 points. And then, no surprise really, Haas going backwards in every way possible with only 1 point so far this season. Scored 1 point in Bahrain on the first outing, and then nil points in the second race in Bahrain. So we're just on board with Katsu, who's on his fast lap, and Copedro just gets out of his way as we come up through the hill section of 6 and 7. Oh, nearly loses it on the back end there. Going through 8 flat out, lifts a tiny little bit to keep the car on track. Flying down that second DRS zone, challenge shifts all the way down to second gear, getting nice and tight on the turn in, up to 4th gear for the curb, 5th gear, dropping it back down to 3rd gear for the traction as he comes into this final chicane section here in Barcelona, touching the curb slightly there on the right hand side, and then avoid the sausage curbs as much as you can, get the power down, get it around the corner and flat out, ready for the DRS wide open and across the line, and puts him up to P8. So we're 1:17.361. So with just 4 minutes remaining now here in Q1, we've got 13 drivers have set a time. Copedro with that very impressive 1:41.882. I'm not entirely sure why he's back out again. He must realise that he has got through to the next, to Q2. WLK Agilos has just dropped down to P16. As Forza UV's just pushed up slightly. We've got a few retirements so far, drivers that know they're going to be safe going through into the next round. Well, they hope they're safe. No, they definitely are. So at the top we've got the Red Bull of SMM Merxy, Willans and Nicolas Latifi in the Mercedes, the Red Bull of Forza Ferrari, who again is back out on track. Not quite sure why. It looks like he's using a fresh set of soft tyres. These guys need to be careful they're not going to use up all of their tyres and have nothing to run in Q2 or Q3. Q3 especially. Gilos is again on another fast lap, but he's invalidated this one as he takes a very interesting route to avoid dying. I've done that route myself many times. Reactions just on another lap now on his soft tyres. And again, it says 0 laps. I'm not sure if it's a glitch or if he is putting on a fresh set of tyres for this Q1 performance. Hornsey also out on track as well. Forza UV is just having a little Sunday drive around the track by the looks of it. He needs to be careful, he's got a car coming up fast behind him. But he's out of fuel by the looks of it. Pedro's just coming down and going to be right behind him any second now. Forza Ferrari very tidy there with that Ferrari, with that Red Bull, sorry. RR Silence just cruising as well, not over revving the car. So a few drivers there. As Omega gonna bust you on an outlap there on what looks like another fresh set of soft tyres as he backs off to let Pedro through, but that's going to compromise his straight line speed down here as well without that traction out of the final corner, so he's going to have to avoid the Red Bull there coming through of Forza Ferrari. So just over a minute remaining. Nothing to fight for here, just pride at the moment as the drivers are coming through. Our silence on a fast lap here. I've just noticed in the on the comments that Blues has said it. FYI, the race is fully wet. Now, that makes it very interesting. That makes it very interesting, and now I can understand why so many people are using up their tyres. But you know, track position in the wet is going to mean absolutely everything. You want to get all of that traffic behind you as quickly as possible to avoid any damage. Turn 1 here, just like turn 1 anywhere, can be very dangerous. It's normally a fairly decently speed corner, and with carnage of 16 cars coming up behind you, if you're on pole position, you need to clear it quickly. So RI Silence coming around to set a time on these medium tyres and does jump a position with a 1:16.446. Forza Ferrari is trying not to die on the pit entry there. Rokakshin is just coming around. He's on an in lap. So that's it. So we lose Just Jose and Maxi from Q1. Currently laying down the speed. SMM Maxi or Shifters Maxi in the Discord. Set the fastest time there with Willans just behind him, Forza Ferrari and Nicholas Latifi. So it's a Red Bull Mercedes top 4. RR Silent again doing big things in that McLaren on P5 so far. Satomiki in his Aston in P6. Gilos in P7. Procaction just coming into the pit stage, you can see, on P8. And as he enters his pit box, that'll be the end of this. Blues in the other, Aston Martin P9, Katsu P10, Omega Gunner Bustja in P11, Holmesy in P12, Gabriel, who retired early on in the P13 in that Williams, Code Pedro for P14, and Forza Juve, the last of those to make it through, in P15. Shifters Maxi in the Discord, I can see you right in there that McLaren is broken. Don't believe it, these guys have just got pure raw pace. So there we go, just a clarification of the top 15 there and the drivers that won't make it through. And nothing to report. So we lose McLaren and AlphaTauri. Neither driver set a time though. Could be tactics though. Start from the back, avoid the carnage, and just casually get yourself back up to the points paying positions. So I'm assuming that all of quali is probably dry. Doesn't look like it's going to rain anytime soon. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it'd be interesting to see what everyone's strategies are in Q2. Are they going to go out and put in as many laps as you can? Potentially use up those used tyres from Q1. You don't need them anymore, so you might as well just waste the heck out of them. So here we go, Q2, another dry session. Who will make it through to the top 10 shootout? Only the top 10 drivers will make it through. As it has been stated, it is a full wet race, so tyre choice won't matter here. Tyre choice won't matter. Normally, if it's a dry session, obviously the tyres that the top 10 qualify on in Q2 will be their starting tyres, but not today. So we are looking for everyone potentially to go out on those soft tyres. Use up the mediums if they haven't already for a first run. 15 minutes to get in as many laps as you can. Looking at a 1 minute 20 roughly for a fast lap. That's a slow fast lap, and then a minute and a half for an in and an out lap. So you can get 3 good runs in here, or over fuel and put in 2 runs on those medium tyres or 2 runs on those soft tyres for the first one, and then dive in the pits. So, out on track already. The Forza Ferrari in the Red Bull, subbing in today. Blues 245 in the Aston, Wheels out in his Mercedes. Gabriel out in his Williams as well. Angelos in the Alpine. Honesy's out there as well on the soft tyres. We've got Kautsu and Actions in the Ferraris out on track. SMM Mercy on Red Bull, and Co-Pedro's out there as well. So first one to start their lap will be Forza Ferrari. He's strapped on a set of soft tyres, the fastest tyres available for the weekend. Can he pip the Mercedes to a Q2 P1? We shall see. Or as we see, he goes rather deep there, going in to the right hander of 12-13, nearly loses it on the curb, and then a lot of sausage under his car through the final chicane, and then turns onto the straight. So it'll be a good time, but won't necessarily be competitive. So definitely not competitive with a 118. 424. Gabriel ultimate straight away in the Williams, tops that with a 117.938, and then the Mercedes of Willands with a 116.198. Next across the line we'll have Kautsu's just starting a lap. He obviously invalidated there. The Aston Martin of Blues 245, nicely done there as well. Next across the line we've got the Ferrari of Mercy, who dives straight into the pits with an invalidated time. Action's going to be the next one in the Ferrari. Sets a 116.787, so still about 5 tenths off the top. And Honesy sets an amazing 132.550. Nicholas Latifi is just starting a lap. Sato Miki's on a very slow lap. Merxie's in the pits. Kautsu's coming round into the final sector. Got quite a bit of traffic coming up in the last couple of corners. They need to get out of his way as quickly as they can. And he's going to abandon his lap and dives into the pits. Are silent, yet to come out on track. Nicholas Latifi there coming in, wheels on an in lap or an invalidated lap. So Nicholas Latifi in the Mercedes, can he beat his teammate? Very fast driver, Nicholas Latifi. He's done really well so far in the league, and he puts it across the line with a 116.326. So literally less than a tenth and a half difference from his teammate. Show that the Mercedes are a strong car and both drivers are extracting the power from it. Like the dentist when you're getting a tooth pulled. Everything out. So Forza Juve is the next one going to be coming across the line with another time. Currently sitting in P8. And he abandons his lap and very nearly died in the pit lane by the looks of it there. Careful, son, careful. As Forza Juve, Satomiki invalidated his lap, so he's going to start a brand new one. So while we're just waiting for the next 6 drivers to be able to set a time, so Copedro, what happened to Copedro? When did I miss that? He's retired. So only 4 drivers to compete then for the position. So drivers championship wise then, as I said, Nicholas Latifi is a quick driver. Obviously he's in the Mercedes, the fastest car on the track, but a fast driver in his own right as well. Has taken P1 in both Bahrain races. So let's see if he can continue that form here, or whether his reserve teammate Willans can push him as well. Now we know the Red Bulls are fast as well, but we will see what they can do. So Nicholas Latifi currently leading the championship with 51 points, and Perfect Pond, who's not racing this evening, but is P2 in the championship jointly with Just Jose, who is here this evening but didn't make it through to Q2. And then his name, who shall not be spoken, in P4, who's no longer here. RR Silence in the second McLaren in P5 with 15 points. Gilos in 6th place with 14 points. Satomiki in 7th with 10 points. And Ruti Gulti 8th place with 8 points as well. Steinzap and Gabriel both with 6 points, Kautsu with 4, Maxi with 2, and then Small Hero and Rugby Daney, who runs the league, both with 1 point each. And then a whole bunch of drivers that haven't scored yet. We're only 3 races in though, so anything can still happen. So let's look down at the bottom of here. So Holmesy looks like he's just starting a fast lap here. He's just outside or just into the drop zone in P11. Forza Juve invalidated his lap. Kautsu's just about to start his hot lap, so we'll catch up with him in a second, and RR Silent will cross the line just behind him. So drop zone wise, Holmesy will be the next one to cross the line. Can he improve on Holmesy? Apologies if I very much jinxed you there. Even with that spin, I reckon you could probably still improve on a 132. So Kautsu, next one, who's going to be crossing the line in those positions. SSM Merxi jumps into the pits. Forza Juve is on his, Forza Ferrari, sorry, is on his out lap. So Kautsu in the drop zone, yet to set a time. Here he comes through the final couple of corners. Can he keep it nice and clean, nice and tidy? Avoid the curves, get the power down. Flying down the straight, DRS wide open and jumps up to P5 or 1:16.907, pushing Forza Ferrari down into the drop zone. RR Silence going to be the next one to cross the line. Again, yet to set a lap time, so we don't know where it's going to put him. A bit of a lock up there. He keeps it valid though. Onto the straight, DRS open, full power all the way down to the line with a 1:16.443. So WK Agilos now in the drop zone with Forza Ferrari. Honzi yet to set a competitive time, and Forza Juve. This isn't going to get confusing. Forza Ferrari and Forza Juve are both in the drop zone. Forza Juve yet to set a time. So 4 minutes remaining. Hosey might just have enough time to set a lap here and then get around and get back in and get out if he pushes the car to the max. And there we go, puts him up to P9. We have got retirement in Satomiki there down in P10. So Gabriel, Megan Anabastia, Agilos and Forza Juve all in the drop zone. But with a bit of improvements, we could be all the way up. So P6 potentially couldn't even be safe. Would have won 16.7 if these drivers at the bottom can improve that much. So Forza Juve on his outlap at the moment. Agilos waiting to come out just yet. Omega Ganabastia is on his outlap. Just coming around the final corners to start his. Gabriel is not far behind him on his outlap. But Omega Ganabastia is going very slowly, invalidated his lap there. So not going to do it on this one, but got to make it round again. We have got a yellow flag glitch on the screen, so I'm not sure how much time's remaining. As Forza Juve's taking some very strange lines through the gravel there a little bit in his AlphaTauri. So here we go. Hasn't set a time yet. What can he? He can't do much. He can't do much. Oh, mate. Got a bit too much onto the curb there, spun the wheels up and then couldn't stop it and stuck it into the wall. So now just 3 drivers to set a time in the drop zone. So Gabriel, Omega Ganabastia and Agilos all need to set a time quicker than a 1:16 or 1:17.3 is the cut-off at the moment. Mickey's retired. So Nicholas Latifi is just diving in the pits. We won't follow on board with him then. Forza Ferrari on an invalidated lap. RR Silence in the pits. Reactions on an invalidated lap. Kautsu's in the pits. Blues is on his outlap. Invalidated that one, but he's going to be able to set a lap time at least. As we watch as Gabriel's coming around the final corner in the Williams. Gonna set time. Can he improve? How much can he improve? He does improve, but not enough to get him out of the drop zone. Agilos is still out on his out lap, and Omega gonna bust you. The last 2 guys that can change the lineup of the top 10, an Alpine and an Alpine. Can they do it? Who's going to be the first one across the line? And Gilos is just starting a lap. So Omega Nabastia, let's see what he can do. Now has a set a time. The track map's showing a purple sector. Not sure how true that is in the Alpine, of course. But let's see what he can do. So currently he needs to improve by half a second at least. And he doesn't, unfortunately. He goes a tenth slower than he was before. And it looks like we've got an Aston Martin in some gravel there. As Gabriel's coming around in the final sector on a very slow lap. He's got 10 seconds to cross the line to set another lap if he wants, but he's not going to be able to. Omega Nabastia is not going to improve either. Down on his first sector time. G-Loss then going to cross the line and does improve with a 1:17.070, which drops Holmesy into the drop zone. So there we go, as the final cars come around the track to finish their laps. Bracaction's going to dive in the pits, no need to continue a lap. And as you know, Omega Ganabastia is not going to make it round in the Alpine. Gutted for Honesy there. I see your sad face, young sir. Would have expected to be safe. I'm not sure if Satomiki retired or if he DNF'd, because if he DNF'd, then you'd expect him to have dropped out there. So, just while we wait for the last few cars to come around, we are just going to as my PlayStation is now just having a bit of an old man moment. So there we have it, our top 10. So it has kicked Satomiki out, according to that. He has dropped out. So Merxi has gone through, Nicholas Latifi is through, Willans, Forza Ferrari, RR Silent, Brakaxin, Kautsu, Blues and Agelos have all gone through. So we lose the Aston Martin of Satomiki, the Alfa Romeo of Honesy, Gabriel in the Williams, Omega Nobastia in the Alpine, Forza Juve and Co Pedro in the Alfa Tauri and Alfa Romeo respectively didn't set a time. So here we go, top 10 shootouts. Put those fresh tyres on. If you've got any fresh tyres, get out straight away, get a lap in. If you go quickly, you could probably still get 3 laps in with 12 minutes, but you need to be hitting the track immediately. Use a set of scrub tyres to start with if you're sensible. Or if you've got scrub tyres, or if you've got loads of fresh, just get them on. Do as many laps as you can. Obviously your final lap, the final lap in Q3 is the one that counts. The track will be at its best position with all of the rubbering in through the Q1 and Q2. So last car to cross the line typically gets the best track conditions. So far, we've got 6 out of 9 drivers out on track. My money is on a Mercedes pole. I'm not going to lie. Both drivers are quick. Obviously, the quick car. Now, pole one in Mercedes. I reckon front row. I'm gonna put SMM Merxi on P2 in the Red Bull. This is my prediction and my prediction only, but we'll see. As just getting a notification on my watch. Apparently, I've just achieved my stand goal, everyone, even though I'm sat down. So. Stranger things have happened, i.e. Alpine have made it through, Ferrari have made it through to Q3, and I've reached a stand goal by sitting on my lazy backside. So, Forza Ferrari is just on his outlap now, and SMM Merxi's out as well, and Kautsu. So all 9 drivers out on track. RR Silent's going to be the first one to set a lap time. Let's just... this will be the benchmark, as the Aston Martin behind him there looked a bit squirrely coming through turn 9. A bit too much curb there. So, who's the Aston Martin behind him? We've got Blues 245 just beyond RR Silent. So RR Silent sets the benchmark with a 1:15.742. Blues 245 crossed the line with no time. I thought he was on a lap there. Williams on an invalidated lap. Nicholas Latifi will be the next one to cross the line in his Mercedes. Will he put it on pole? No, with a 1:16.249. Bracactions crossed the line there. We missed with a 1:16.928. And then takes to an escape road there to avoid turn 1 and avoid imminent death. Forza Ferrari then, Agilov crossed the line in 17.4. Forza Ferrari crossed the line with a 1:16.619. So I'm making a guess here that those drivers, so Nicholas Latifi, Forza Ferrari, Braccaction and Agilov, are all on scrub tyres. Over half a second off the pace. As Katsu will be the next one to set a time in this first run in Q1. And jumps up to P3 with a 1:16.610. And then Merckxy puts it on pole in the Mercedes with a 1:15.234. He's laid down the hammer. He's set the pace. He's basically just said to Mercedes, if you're not going to go fast, don't bother turning up this evening. Williams is diving in the pits. Blues 245 must be coming in the pits as well there, as is everyone. Bracactions on an invalidated lap, so that didn't count. Gilos has retired from the session there. I'm guessing he's in the pits currently. Yes, he is. It's Forza Ferrari is going to cross the line under a 1:16.601, improves by 0.02 of a second. Caxton's set 2 laps on those set of soft tyres. I'm not sure if he's actually improving here or if he's just out there for fun. So Williams dived in the pits quickly, got a fresh set of soft tyres by the looks of it. Yep, fresh set of soft tyres on to be able to set a time. So just Blues 245 and Williams yet to set a time. We shall see what each of them can do. So Williams is starting his lap right now. Blues 245 is in the pits. He'll be coming out shortly, I'd imagine. So let's ride on board with Williams for his quali lap. His second run, I think he invalidated his first one, so we won't count that. So we'll call this his first. So as he comes around the final few corners, let's see what sort of time he can put in, and can he make it impressive versus his teammate this evening, or can he stick it on pole? Oh, 1:15.345, a 1:15.345, 111 off of that pole position. A very good lap there from Williams. Very good lap. So get round, get in, get back out if you can quickly as possible. So Nicholas Latifi is currently on a invalidated lap there on our silence on a fast lap. He is currently 2 temps up by the looks of it, maybe 3 temps up. Saw it just flash up there. So he'll be looking to improve, but he's still 4 temps off of P2. So it's all in that final traction zone there. Can he improve massively? And he does with a 1:15.476, but just still good enough for P3. Blues 245 is just starting his lap now. Great camera shot there from the Codys. Willan's tyres there showing 0 laps. Very confusing. Nicholas Latifi's just starting a fast lap as well. Borza is on an out lap. How's Blues getting on in that Carnizant Aston Martin as he comes through to the end of sector 2, keeps it nice and tidy through turn 9, coming up to the hairpin or the tight left-hander, the old style track layout, not what we're looking to see this year. Nice and tidy as he comes through this final sector. Where can he put himself? He's only going to get 1 run at this unless he's fueled for 2 laps. Oh, a bit of a tank slapper there as the back kicks out just a bit but keeps it under control, and he's going to cross the line with a 1:16.675. Good enough currently for P8. Kept his DRS wide open, so the potential there, he is over fueled, so we shall see what he can do. As Forza Ferrari is just starting a lap. Nicholas Latifi is currently 8/10 up on his time. And improved for a 1:15.447. So a nice decent lap there, good enough for the second row in P3. Again, he might be overfueled for an extra lap. Also Ferrari, SM and Merxy just destroys his time with a 1:15.183. I say destroys his time, he improved by 0.05. So we shall see. Kautsu's just about to start a hot lap, his final run of the session, as we go past the 1 minute mark now. Very shortly. So this will be the final run for any drivers on track, I would imagine. So has Maxi done everything he can to secure that pole position? So let's see what we've got here. Kautsu, Brakaxon, going to be the next one to cross the line. What can he do? We've got yellow flags all over as people are slowing down, trying to get themselves set up for the lap. And Brakaxon crosses the line and improves to P5 with a 1:16.469. Next across the line are Silence on an out lap. He's just going to make it to start a lap for this run, and then Kautsu doesn't improve, 1:16.610, 3 seconds down. As Willans has retired. He's lost it. I'm guessing he's died at turn 9, sadly. So he'll settle for a P2 at the moment. As you can see, his car there just sitting in the middle of the track. Looks like that's impeded his teammate, unfortunately. Obviously he's DNF'd, so he's got no control over the car. Forza Ferrari just coming around the final corner. Can he improve from P7? And he does, up to P5 with a 1:16.082. As Kautsu's on a lap, it's a 10.5 up in sector 2, and we know that Nicholas Latifi can't improve, so he's going to dive in the pits. RR Silent, not sure if he's still on a push lap or if he's just going to dive in the pits. We shall see. Did he have enough fuel to put in a second lap? Quite possibly, as he comes around the final corner and the DRS line wide open, comes down that start finish straight and doesn't improve on that lap time. As Kautsu's going to cross the line and improves with a 1:16.094, half a second quicker there, and SM Merxy crosses the line. So, there we go. SM and Merxy front row P1 with a Mercedes P2, P3. Let's just look at this lineup. So SM and Merxy with a 1:15, 1:83, a tenth and a half quicker than Willands, who sadly DNF'd there. Nicholas Latifi in the second Mercedes, only a tenth behind his teammate. Are Silent in the McLaren in P4. Forza Ferrari in P5 with the Red Bull. Kautsu in the Ferrari in P6. Rakaxen in the Ferrari P7. Blues in the Aston Martin in P8. And then Agillos, who retired early on, in P9 in the Alpine. So that's your top 9. And now we say good evening and welcome to my SFR compadre, my lifelong friend, fellow teammates, Van Rocco. Good evening. What an introduction. Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir? Look at this.
Weather. Look at that. That looks evil. Absolutely evil.
This looks like it's going to be carnage, and we're not even on track yet.
Yes, indeed it does. So SSM Marksy on pole, is that going to be a strategy as well? Soft, medium, medium?
Soft, medium, medium? No chance.
Well, he's got to, that's in his name.
Oh, I hear you now. I'm a bit slow today. It's been a lot.
Go soft, medium, medium. He's told everyone what he's doing.
He put it in the name. This is what we are doing.
So someone readied up pretty early.
Yeah.
17 drivers. So there's a few here. Any surprises? I suppose both Ferraris being behind the McLaren is possibly a bit of a surprise. Who's that? Blues in P7 in the Aston. That's a pretty good time for him. And Satmuki in P9. That's pretty much where the Aston Martin should be. Alpine did well. The Agillos into P8. Who picked up a?
I believe
Agillos was P9.
Yeah.
So who's picked up a 5-place grid penalty?
It was Forza Ferrari, I believe, for the incident.
Okay.
In Q1 there was a bit of contact with the drivers out on track, impeding on the last couple of corners. Typical of real life. Full wet.
Full wet, that's interesting.
It's very, look at the pot, you can see the standing water on the track.
Spain is hard enough in the dry, let alone in the wet. It's very tricky this year, in this year's game. You always used to have to ride the curbs a bit, but they are very unforgiving.
So there you go, it's full wet strategy for the whole race. You can do a 1-stop or a 2-stop, just showing us on Just Jose.
So Just Jose, who got a podium last week, I think. Pretty sure he got podium.
He did, I believe. Or was it Team's teammate, I believe?
Maybe, yeah. I think Jose got involved with the cool guy at the end of the race, actually. So I think he lost the podium at the end. And might have gained it back with a steward's decision.
Yes, he did. He got it back through the steward's decisions after the race.
I missed qualifying. What happened with him? Did he just not be able to set a time, or did he crash out?
Yeah, just in Q1, he didn't even go on track as far as I could see. Just retired from the session. But as I said, that could be a good strategy here.
Yeah, it could be.
Just get off the line nicely and carefully behind everyone. Wait for everything to unfold.
Obviously, Mercedes under new management of Willands, currently in P2. I think it was 1300ths.
Yeah.
Quicker than his teammate. Very slow Mercedes outlap. He come and filters in. That would have been Latifi.
There we go. So as we just wait for Just Jose, the last couple of drivers, to join the track as we start.
I'm going to ride on board with Jose at the start. I'll be at the back of the grid and point you in the direction of anything that kicks off at the back.
Yep, so here we go. 5 red lights are out, and Come on, Cody's, and away we go. So SMM Merxy gets a good start. RR Silent gets a great start in that McLaren. Already
Maxi's
jumping
out.
up. Maxi's out back there.
Lost it on traction.
RR Silent is already
Lost
up into P2. Already up into P2 with that. Maxi lost it.
And we've got lots of carbon fibre going at the back.
A lot of 5-second penalties I can see jumping up there in a full course safety car. So RR Silent's got a 5-second penalty. Mega going to bust you with a 5-second penalty. And Bracaction, you were watching at the back, didn't quite see what happened there.
No, I think he got hit by... There was a few people being hit, so... Silent hit Will, severe collision with Will. Bracaxon had a severe collision with Kaitsu. So...
okay.
And then...
As Gabriel is dropping down the order, he's currently changing the shape of the gravel.
Omega Bustu got a 5-second penalty for hitting Forza Ferrari, and also got another 5-second time penalty for gaining a place.
So
he's got 10 seconds.
I'm guessing that's going to be people off of track, not and then the safety car glitching. That'll be my prediction there.
Yeah, possibly. So that's a good start by Silent. Silent is a very, very fast driver, especially in this McLaren.
He is. He really is. He was neck and neck with Will going into the first corner, but just had the bit of edge just out in front of him as the virtual safety car popped up, which stopped any counter fights.
Will's car looked like it wasn't damaged, but it looks like he's heading into the pits. No, he's not. He was just taking an unusual line for the last corner. So, Omega Gombustu's retired. Has he spun out?
Not
I think he has.
too sure. He has on the last corner. You can't even see his car. Oh, there it is. On that final corner, it's just before. There it is. Stationary on the track.
He's gone in the pits, or he's lost it.
Has
the last corner into the pit wall, as someone did a few years ago in 2019.
I can't remember who did that. He was doing quite well in the race, and then flew into the pit wall a bit too quick.
So Just Jose has gained 7 positions, and closely followed by Code Pedro, who is +4. So he's driving along Honesy in the Alfa Romeo.
So our prediction on Just Jose starting at the back has paid off, really. Already up to P10 from the back.
He got a great start, and obviously Maxi had a horrible start, and he was... I was watching, and just the car just wasn't sticking to the wet track, and he just completely lost it. Completely lost it.
Unfortunate. I mean, we've all had incidents like that. My race starts myself haven't always been great. Unfortunately,
they're getting better, though. They're getting better.
Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. In true Alpine fashion now, slowly building up. I am the Fernando Alonso.
You are indeed the oldest on the grid. No, you're not the oldest. You're the. Yeah, you're probably in the Kimi, in the Fernando Alonso realm, because there's a couple of drivers older than you, so...
Are there now?
Yeah, I think Red Dog definitely.
Okay. And
yeah, so you're probably around the Fernando Alonso age.
There we go. And when someone's behind me, I don't let them past easily.
True that. True that.
So we're 2 laps in, still under a safety car. Just
hopefully it'll be in this lap, and we can go racing at the end of it. The cars, a few stragglers are just catching up to the back. I know Forza Ferrari was quite far back, but he's now joined up. See, Will and Silent do know each other from other leagues, so there might be a bit of. We'll check the Discord quickly, see if any fighting is going on in there at the minute.
Now it's very quiet in there.
It is.
Yep.
It is indeed.
Not a single comment since the race started. So obviously, either everything was very clean and it was just general incidents, or everyone's paying a lot of attention.
It looks pretty, I mean, for a wet race, it looked quite... Yeah, I don't know what we were on about just then.
You were reading the same comment that I was.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, safety car. I didn't see if it flashed up actually. We just missed that. There
Yep,
we go.
there you
Safety
go.
car in the back.
Perfect timing, Van Rocco. Perfect timing.
Perfect time. I knew it was coming up. So yeah, we're going to go racing again.
So, can Will capitalise on the speed of that Mercedes on this restart?
Yeah, it depends when Merckx's going to go. If he goes at the end exit of the last corner, he should be alright, because obviously getting the power down at the last corner is normally tricky anyway.
No, he's not backed off massively from the safety car.
In dirty air.
The safety car's just entered the pit lane and he's going.
He is. Yeah, he's gone. Silent did seem to get quite a good start behind him though. He looks like he's in the
slipstream there. Can he make a move going into turn one? He's going to be side by side. And Silent. Just gets a bit too much on the curve. Can't get the power and the exit on it, but very close there.
And very squirrely on the exit, but Silent, yeah, did a great job there. Great driving between those two.
As we've just seen, Forza Juve has just DNF'd on the final corner of the track.
That could be another full course safety, but it is off. There isn't any cars. I find if there's cars around,
it goes straight to.
It goes to safety car, whereas and Pedro's retired as well. We've lost another driver, and he had a collision with Blues as Will goes up the inside. No, Nicholas Latifi, sorry, goes up the inside of Will and gets that position done. Silent, that was probably his one good chance at the time being, because he is starting to drop back now. He's over a second behind. Obviously, in wet weather conditions, we don't get safety DRS, so there's going to be no issue with that. He does seem to be going a little bit. Seems to make a little mistake in that section. I've got the awful engine glitch. Thank you for not streaming on my profile.
I've got it as well on Latifi as well. As Latifi goes very deep into the second to final corner through the chicane, drops back over half a second to Ara Silent, who's now 1.4 seconds behind. He's got better straight line speed, but he's got the ERS activated to try and make up for that deficit.
So jump to just Jose. He's just about to do Holmesy.
As he flies past with time to spare before turn one.
He's gained 9 positions now. Yellow flag, sector 3 again. Another driver who's lost, which is Blues 245. That last corner's becoming very tricky for some drivers.
And we're down to 12 drivers after 5 laps. Now, let's just hope that they clear that before we get around, so we don't need a safety car. So Gabriel now pulling up the back of the pack in his Williams, which is pretty standard.
So Forza is half a second off the Ferrari of Brakaxen. That's the closest gap we have on track at the minute, half a second. And Satmuki is half a second just over now from Agelos. Pretty much 1 by 1, as in 1 second throughout the whole field.
Yeah. So it's probably not a bad place to be in the wet weather. You know, you will get a slipstream, but also you'll get a lot more dirty air through here, especially through the last sector.
What we've seen as well is a lot of driver mistakes. So you're always if you just drive consistently and clean, you could pick up quite a few positions just from keeping it on the track. So Jose is catching up actually to Satmuki, so he's now 6 tenths behind, 7 tenths, dropping down on the straight.
As Agilos is now only 2 tenths behind Kautsu and gets right up in behind him just before turn 1, but doesn't have enough time to make a move. And those 1 second gaps has now dropped.
They are. Quite a few drivers are getting close. Silent is gained, but then lost a bit of time. The biggest losers are Brakaxen. They've lost 4 places. Some of the DNFs have obviously lost more than others. Drivers are obviously getting a bit more used to the conditions.
That's it, getting used to the conditions and getting brave.
Yeah, getting a bit braver.
Just Jose is still the biggest gainer.
Silent is really starting to close his gap now, consistently, so he's definitely getting used to the conditions.
Now only so he's gained. So this time last lap he was half a second slower. So he was 1.5 seconds behind nearly, and now he's only 8 tenths behind coming into the straight. And we know he's quicker on the straight as well.
And he'll be driving for SFR on Sunday in an equal performance league, so he can really... huge snap of oversteer there.
Managed to keep it straight, so his deficit's gone back up to 1.1 seconds. And now he's got Nicholas Latifi closing in very fast behind him. Only a half a second, 4 tenths behind him. Will he make it count into turn one? He doesn't get quite close enough.
Agilos off at the last corner, but he's back on track, losing positions. He'll drop to the back of the field, I believe. So Jose's gained another 3 position there.
Jose for the podium with 3 positions. Come on. Come on. So Willans has dropped very far behind his teammate, now 3.6 seconds off, and kind of sitting in a bit of lonesome air there, with Kautsu 2.8 seconds behind him. Just Jose is now only 7 tenths behind Satomiki, so can he make it count, get past him quickly and start catching the lead pack? Because at the moment Merxy, Silent and Latifi are having their own 3-way races. Silent has gained massively now, only 3 tenths.
Oh yes, he has. Must have been a bit of a mistake from Merxy and the evil turn 9.
Yeah, so that's
obviously he's on his gearbox now through this last into the last tricky last sector.
So can he stick with him through these last 2 corners and then use that speed advantage down here?
He's got to remember what he did wrong last time. Kaitsu obviously just took the whole chicane there. Get a 10-second penalty as Silent is gaining. Going to try the outside. He went the inside last time.
He has a bit of a lock up on his front right.
Outside. Yeah, Gay has to give up that position. He wasn't quite ahead, so Merxy had the right to that corner.
I did hold my breath for a second there.
I did as well, because obviously Latifi's getting interested as well. It's going to be good for Will, because Will's going to be able to catch up to this pack if these guys keep fighting. As Latifi gets a much better exit. And he's making the move on to Silent.
But Silent defends though. Silent defends into 5, forces him to go wide. It looks like there was a bit of contact there.
It does. Obviously, Latifi was hanging it on the outside, and Silent must have got a little bit of oversteer again. And yeah, I mean, but you don't really want to be on the outside there because there's only one place you're going to go, and that's into the gravel.
Wu-Tang Clan would love you then in that gravel pit, but them 2 fighting has allowed Merxy to pull away from the pack with now 1.3 second lead, and like you said, it's allowed Will to start gaining 8 tenths, or nearly a full second over the course of that lap. Will's managed to gain.
Jose's gained another position. He's up to P6 now. So who would that have made a mistake? Kaitsu, yeah, Kaitsu obviously made that mistake. So yeah, Jose is
right out there, and he's right on the gearbox of Satomiki as well, coming through these last couple of corners. Both drivers with 100% ERS, so can they make it count? As Satomiki's pushing, and that slipstream's helping him a lot, but not gaining massively. He's only going to gain about 2 tenths by the end of the straight. But it might be enough as long as he can keep it glued through turn 2 and turn 3.
On board Latifi, he could be making a move just like he did last time with a better exit out of turn 4. Yes, looks like he's going to try and do it again. Same position, same place.
As we go into turn 5, it's like deja vu, except it's a lot cleaner. What a switchback! But they're going to go in side by side through 6 and 7. Obviously, both drivers are going to have to back off because it's very slippery. Oh, very close battle there.
Unfortunately, with his just lost a bit of traction. That would have been one of the overtakes of the race, I would think. That switchback move. It was a great little move. Very well thought out.
Yeah, very, very clean, very tidy, very tactical.
Merxy's obviously pulling away now, 2.4 second lead, so this is perfect for him. It's not really what Silent wanted though, because Silent had a good chance at taking the lead of the race a couple of laps ago.
And he's got that 5-second penalty that he will use when he pits.
Aye, very true. very true. So
Which
it might be better for him to let the faster Mercedes go, so he can just drive his own race and just keep putting the times in. Because Latifi's obviously going to be faster. Looks like he's the fastest driver on the track at the minute. And he's being held up, possibly a little bit by Silent. So he's only going to unlock more pace. So yellow flag in sector 3. Looks like it's
Forza Ferrari has spun it. Doesn't
round.
look like there's any damage. He's cut it on track. He's moving again under his own power, which is good.
And that brings Kaitsu into the race. He's going to have his own little race now with Forza Ferrari.
We jump back up top. So the gaps have started to open up again. The closest one now again is just Nicholas Latifi, who's only 4 tenths behind Silent, as they're coming up towards turn 8, turn 9. Everyone else has dropped to well over a couple of seconds behind each other, and the field's very spread out. I was just about to say, still yellow flags in sector 3 for no reason.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, but they've disappeared now.
So Will's kind of just maintaining that gap now. He got that second back and got it down to 2.8, 2.9, 3-second gap, like range. But he's not gaining massively. But let's see what Nicholas Latifi can do. Latifi can do on the straight here. Will he get close enough? No, he's dropped 9 tenths back. As Holmesy picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, corner cutting.
So Merckx's got the fastest lap of the race, a 35.10. Silent's fastest lap was a 38.90. So he's 3 and a bit tenths off the fastest lap. He does need to start picking up his pace a little bit, I would think, because he is starting to drop back a little bit as well now. It's 2.3, so he's not gaining the time that he was earlier. And he's not under real pressure from Latifi. So, yeah, we'll see what his pace looks like.
As Holmesy's dived into the pits for a set of fresh wet tyres, so he's going for a 2-stopper, I'd imagine.
Tyre wear is quite high around Spain, so obviously the tyres probably are going off. Obviously Silent, probably why Silent is dropping off a little bit. The McLaren's obviously not quite as nice on its tyres as maybe a Mercedes or a Red Bull.
Yeah.
So that could be a reason why you're starting to drop off a little bit.
I think
Kaitsu is dropping down, and they're fighting through turn 5. If you jump on board with them, they're going very wheel to wheel there. A bit glitchy, a bit twitchy, all of them. But
Kaitsu and Ferrari, yep, I'm on board.
they were side by side when I jumped on board with them. So Kaitsu's got 10 seconds, obviously, for that corner cutting he got earlier. Gaps 3 tenths between Satmuki and Just Jose. And they're going down the straight.
Satmuki's just died! Oh!
Into the wall. That should be a full course safety car.
It is indeed.
This could be a time for tyres. It's good for Silent.
Yep, get rid of that 5-second time penalty and he won't lose too many positions, because everyone else will be backing off at the same time. We had a front row seat there, Van Rocco.
Absolutely nailed it into the wall.
So that going to bring Holmesy up a position back into P11. So we'll only have one driver as Gabriel dives into the pits early on in the safety car session.
And it's obviously good for Just Jose, who gains another.
Silent.
Which is going to have to serve after the safety car comes in. He can't serve it now.
Silent. What are you doing? You're killing me.
This brings Will Ams into play for the podium, and Just Jose as well. Just Jose is doing some. He's obviously got some free positions today, but not all of those. Not all of those 12 that he's gained are free positions. He's done some brilliant driving. So
it doesn't matter if it's a free position or if it's an overtake. Positions are positions. If that was me out there, I'd be taking it. Yep, absolutely,
of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. So who's going to be diving in the pits now? They're going to be going to.
So Merckxy comes in. Silent is staying out. Silent, what are you doing? What are you doing, son?
It's Merksy pitted as well. So
Latifi and Will pitted. Will's going to get held up just slightly with this double stacking. Just Jose dives into the pits as well. Bricaction's into the pits. Agilos into the pits as well. So now RR Silent's going to have to lead the race. He's not only got a drive through, he's got a 5-second penalty that he's going to need to serve at some point.
Has he not served the penalty?
No, he's not been in the pits at all yet.
Oh yeah, of course he hasn't. Idiot.
He's not
12
been...
lap old wets. I mean, they're not the oldest. You might be looking at... Will went for the intermediate tyres.
Will has thrown the dice. We are going for a gamble.
Possibly a bit too wet for those inters. Still lots of puddles. You don't really want to be driving in intermediate tyres through puddles, so he's going to have to watch out for the track and avoid as much of those big wet patches as he possibly can. No one likes a wet patch.
No, well, definitely not. Pervert.
And Holmesy put the inters on as well.
Do they know something we don't know?
I don't know. Let me check some channels.
Could this be the biggest gift to them or the biggest risk and they're going to lose it? I suppose from Holmesy's perspective, he's not got much to lose. He could probably still get in the points even if he has a slow drive, because the likelihood someone else will DNF. But is it too much of a risk already? So we're just waiting for all of the cars to catch up. The lead pack's only just coming across. So Silent's now come into the pits.
Okay.
And he's serving his 5-second penalty. There we go, and then putting on. So he's gone for the full wets again as well. And he's going to drop down quite far.
He is. He missed a trick coming in so late. But then he did pull this a bit of a strategy last week in Bahrain. He was pulling strange strategies and still managed to get on the podium. But he is now in P9, so he's lost a lot of positions and he's going to be at the back of the grid when he has to serve his drive through. So,
and what that's going to do is it's going to release both Mercedes now.
He's going to want to another safety car quite shortly after serving his drive-through.
Indeed. But that does move just Jose back up to P4. Contention for a podium with Will on those inters. Be interesting to see if he can make them perform or if it's too much of a risk and he's going to lose it at some point. So as we come to the end of sector 2, will the lights go out on the safety car? No.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Still another lap. So we're waiting for Holmesy, who's slowly catching up.
Under these conditions, the inters do seem like they could work, but it's in these conditions, which are slow driving conditions.
Yeah, they're not pushing at the moment. They're not running full throttle.
So you could very shortly lose 2 more drivers.
We shall see. So hopefully only one more lap. Now Holmesy's diving in the pits. He's going to go and get some wet tyres on, I'd imagine.
Okay, so maybe
the gamble was too much.
Gamble, yeah. So Holmesy is... I haven't pitted yet. Here he goes. He dives in. I've messaged him.
No, he's put another set of inters on. What was that for? Very bizarre. Not sure if he had damage. Didn't see them change a wing.
No, he didn't change a wing. He does say they're better than the wets.
Now we know Honesy is a quick driver himself, so I'd be willing to take that risk as we're coming round to the end of sector 2. Let's see, so hopefully safety car will come in this lap, and yep, safety car in this lap.
So he put that fresh. So even though he'd only done one lap on them, he put a fresh set on for more of a chance to make it to the end. So he wanted to take it one more lap. Then he, so I suppose, big brain time. He's at the back. You can still catch up to the back of the safety car. Everyone's going to start backing off. So this is good news for Latifi, who's going to be going wheel to wheel with Merxy at the end of the straight. Wonder if Merxy goes early this time, or if he's going.
And he's gone.
He's gone. He's got quite a nice gap this time. Will is pretty close to.
Just Jose is right on the back of Will, down the straight, only 3 tenths behind him in that slipstream. Let's see if those inters will pay off or they'll cost him that podium position. All still very close through the front, nice and clean through turn 1 by the looks of it. As Silent and Gabriel are going side by side through turn 2 and turn 3. And Silent gets the much better line and much better exit out of turn 3 and gains up position up into P8. As Katsu is on the back of Gabriel.
This could be a master stroke by Will and Honesy, because they are. Will is definitely faster this time round compared to his teammate. Nicholas had him on the full wet tyre, but on the Inter, Will does seem to be going a little bit faster than his teammate.
So that'll pay off, especially when they get down these straights, as Gilos picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, as we've got water all over the camera and we can't see what's happening into the braking zone. So Will is right on the back of his teammate now as we come into the final sector.
The outside at the back on Kaitsu. Into turn 10, 11. Has to back off into turn 12.
So we'll jump on board with Will as they come round the final corner. And he's right behind his Merxy, puts in a 1:29, 1:23, fastest lap of the race. And Will is gaining on his teammate, but not massively. His teammate also pushing his ERS 2 tenths behind into turn 1. Not enough time to get a move made. But he's definitely sticking with him as they've both dropped just Jose, who's dropped now 2.3 seconds behind.
Much better traction out of turn 2.
And he's done his teammates.
So and I can see the clouds don't look quite as grey and horrible as they did earlier. I think the rain... I don't know, it just doesn't look quite as grey, or is it just me?
No, I'm with you on that one. It looks like it's brightening up a bit. The rainfall still looks heavier, but the track will be clearing.
3 tenths out of Merxy there as well in that one corner. So the Inters are definitely the tyre to go. Will is on fire right now.
As Honesy has now got past Katsu going into turn 6 and 7.
A bit of wheel banging going on there. Silent dropped to the back of the grid. Not sure what happened. He had to do his drive-through, didn't he?
He's now completed his drive-through penalty.
He's penalty free. He can just drive. The Will's going to be on the back of Merxy, I reckon, by turn 1.
So he's 8 tenths off at the moment, but he will get better traction out of the final corner, which will help him massively.
Better entry into the chicane as well. Look at that. He gained 4 tenths, 5 tenths just in that chicane.
That's right on board with him to see if he can make the move.
Much better exit.
As Will sets the fastest lap, 1:28.9.094, and he goes for the move around the outside. Can he make it stick?
Fighting back. Gotta watch it.
Nice and clean. Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. Take a bow, son. Take a bow.
Will just drives off into the distance. So the intermediate tyres, definitely the way to go. And Jose has put the intermediate tyres on now as well.
Jose was dropping quite far back in the race, and now he's going to come out behind his teammates. So work together. Hopefully Silent won't hold him up too much if he's going to be quicker than him, as Will has already pulled out a 1 second gap over Merxy, and now Nicholas Latifi is right on the back of Merxy now. Only half a second behind now. Will now pulling out a 1.1 second lead as Kaltsu's pitted and taking the intermediate tyres as well.
Also, Ferrari has 15 lap old wets on. He's going to have to pit soon.
He is indeed, as Silent is struggling a bit on those wet tyres and his teammates got past him nice and easily. I'd imagine Zach Brown on the pit walls put out some orders there.
Let's check Jose's lap times compared to Gano. Gabriel was in the Williams. He's gained pretty much a second since I've been on board with him, so he is... They are a lot faster, as Will is set another fastest lap, and he's got a 1.7 second lead now.
He's taken 2 tenths off his fastest lap time of the lap before, so he is definitely flying as Silent picks up a 3-second time penalty.
It looks like more and more drivers are pitting.
As Forza Ferrari has heard your call, Nicholas Latifi dives in for the intermediate tyres. As Forza Ferrari's in the pits.
He's put wets on again.
But not in the pits. I'm not sure if there might be a glitch there. He's got wets on.
2 lap old wet, so they're obviously the tyres he probably used at the start of the race.
Has he pitted already then?
Yeah, he has pitted already, yeah, because he had 15 lap old tyres on after doing 18 laps. So these are the tyres, because you obviously only get 2 fresh sets of wets. So these are the tyres he used earlier. So that's interesting how he's put the wet tyres on rather than the inters. So half the grid on wet, half the grid on inters so far.
So Just Jose is now only 6 seconds behind Nicholas Latifi, which puts him only 8 seconds behind Gabriel. So he's gained 2 seconds on Gabriel in that last lap. So he's making those inters work nicely. So Honesy's jumped. Honesy's now all the way up to P5. Believe it or not. And so Agelos wouldn't surprise me if he dives in the pits any second now.
And this is a free pit stop for Honesy basically. Because he's got the 3 drivers ahead of him, we're going to all have to make pits, because Mertzi is dropping about a second and a half a lap to Will.
And Maxi stayed out again, as Brakaxon stayed out, as Agelos dives in the pits, so that's going to move Honesy up another position, and now puts him 10 seconds behind Brakaxon on the wet tyres, so that's going to be how quickly he can take that deficit away. As Merxi's now dropped 3.9, 4 seconds behind Will.
Obviously, Honesy's got Latifi behind him, 6.5 seconds, and Jose 2.5 seconds further back from Latifi, so he's going to have trouble holding those 2 guys up when they do reach him. So Merxy has to pit, he's being a bit too stubborn on these wets. He has to pit. Get them off, take the hit, use the inters to the end of the race. Because some of these guys might be struggling towards the end.
We've got 13 laps to go, so it'll be interesting to see if they can make these inters last that long.
It's going to be a struggle. Holmesy obviously played big brain game with putting another fresh set of inters on. So
he's got some big cojones.
Merxy pits. Merxy's in the pits. Let's see what Brakaxon does. Whereas he very late completely misses the apex of the chicane.
He's going to dive into the pits. So that's Honesy now going to go up to a podium position.
But Latifi has gained a 1.5 seconds on Honesy on this lap alone.
And Honesy now up to P2 as Nicholas Latifi sets the fastest lap time of 1:28.550. So Merxy's now coming out of the pits and is going to drop down behind Just Jose, the Chilean driver there in the McLaren, whose tyres are only 2 laps older, so not much loss in them because they won't degrade that quickly.
Jose's gained 13 positions this race, and Honesy's gained 9, so they're the 2 biggest gainers. Silence lost 7. Did a drive through, a 5-second time penalty and a 3-second time penalty. And currently 6.5 seconds behind his closest rival, Agelos in P10. He's the only driver outside of the points right now with the other DNFers.
So Will now has a comfortable 18-second gap to Honesy. his closest driver behind him, who both pitted on the Inters. Obviously, Honesy pitted twice for the Inters, and Nicholas Tiffy is 3.1 seconds behind Honesy, so not gaining massively.
I'm going to put it on the interval to the leader. So Latifi gained 2/10 in the last corner there on Will. So I think Latifi could now be faster than Will. So Will's going to have to think very soon whether he is going to make it to the end of the race on these inters, and if he can't, he's going to have to pit now for a fresh set.
As Nicholas Latifi sets the fastest out there, 1:27.952.
But does Will pit very soon to cover off the undercut? Or overcut, should I say.
His tyres are what, 3 laps old?
No, but
8 laps old, sorry. 8 laps old now, yeah.
Compared to Latifi's 2-lap-old tyres. So Latifi's going to take the tyres 13 laps in total.
Latifi's gap has just come down even more. There's only a 2-second gap to Honesy, and Honesy's dropping back from Will at a rate of knots. He's now 19.2 seconds behind Will. So
sure what's the pit lane loss here, about
23 seconds,
yeah,
maybe a bit more in the wet. As Will continues on his lap, as Merxy is now gaining on Just Jose. He's only half a second behind coming into this final sector, so he'll be in a prime position as Brakaxon picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So can Merxy make a move down the straight on his fresher, 3-lap fresher?
Gabriel fighting into turn 10.
As Kautzi loses out there and loses a position to the Williams.
Ferrari is disconnected, I believe.
As Nicholas Latifi is now only half a second behind Honesy. It gained massively there. So is Honesy losing a lot of traction? Is he struggling now on those inters?
Or is he just struggling in the Alfa Romeo as Agelos goes up the inside of Kaitsu down the pit straight and gets a position there. Kaitsu is obviously struggling on these inters a little bit in the Ferrari. It's not the best downforce. Agelos loses it but just manages to keep it.
And Kaitsu nearly goes off at the same time on the opposite side of turn 2.
I think he was foreshadowing what might have happened and was avoiding.
It's a straight out drag race down to turn 4 as well, and Kautsu is going to try and go up the inside and get better traction. It's neck and neck going up turn 4, turn 5 as Agelos just gets the better corner and the better exit there, and looks like Nicholas Latifi has finally done Honesy in the braking zone of turn 11 by the looks of it.
No, Honesy, I would be very much doubt fought that too hard, should I say, because obviously Latifi's not in his race. Honesy would like a podium, and Jose is 3.5 seconds behind. As Merxy gets a Jose actually. So Merxy's now ahead of Just Jose. So Red Bull and McLaren Power chasing after Honesy.
As Just Jose is very close going up into turn 1, doesn't send it up the inside, keeps it nice and clean. Will's gap to Nicholas Latifi now 19.3 seconds. Honesy's dropping back quite quickly. And at the back, we've got our Silent is now only 4 tenths behind Kautsu in P10, the last of the point-paying positions. And he's gaining quite a bit. He's going to be another lap at least, I reckon, before he passes. As we see in front, Forza Ferrari, who's disconnected, as you said, is starting to get in people's way. As our Silent goes around the outside into turn 4. But Forza Ferrari is fighting, or his AI is fighting, shall we say.
Yeah, those wet tyres are probably, compared to all the inters, probably not feeling too nice.
So Kautsu's currently got 10 seconds of time penalties, which will obviously jump RR Silent up 1 position. Honesy's now got 6 seconds of time penalties.
Oh, okay, so Unfortunate for Holmesy, as Merksy is flying now in the Red Bull,
and
catching back up.
and pulling away from Jose quite rapidly. Now Will's gap to Nicholas Latifi, he's losing time to him, but
not hand over fist.
No, and with only what, 8 laps to go, 9 laps to go.
Will can afford to just drive a little bit gentler and try and get these tyres to the end. I doubt he will. I'm not sure. He's doing in total of how many laps will he? Oh, as Merksy goes up the inside of Holmesy on the exit of 5. Holmesy's now dropped down to P4, which will be P5 with time penalties adjusted if Jose doesn't overtake him on track.
So
that's starting to struggle on these inters.
The Alfa Romeo power is just doing what it does and doing nothing. So he got in a great position with all of the stops and the tyre strategy, but the car just doesn't have the power.
He's being let down by the Ferrari engine and the Alfa Romeo aerodynamics.
As just Jose is gaining on him as well, now well within a second of him as we're coming through the final few corners to the straight.
So by the end of the race, Will would have done 12, 8, about 19, 20 laps on these inters.
As Merksy is now fastest lap. As just Jose is not quite close enough to Holmesy to make any sort of move. He's gaining though, but not massively.
Will makes a mistake on the exit of 4 and going to lose quite a bit, probably about half a second there. He's probably going to lose. That's not going to be good for him.
Well,
he's lost about half a second.
You have 8 laps, Will. You have 8 laps.
If you're listening, don't bottle it.
There's this thing called a commentator's curse.
Safety car right now.
No safety car at Agilus. It's a virtual safety car though.
VSC.
But
this could be a chance for Will to pit. If the safety VSC does stay out for another 30 seconds or so, could be a chance for Will to pit.
Don't know if it's going to last long enough.
No.
Story of my life.
You got to hit a pit. You got to drive to a delta time, which is very jumpy, and not get yourself a drive-through power. So one thing Will wouldn't want. Latifi's driving very slowly with it.
Drop 2 seconds back, and Will is not going to dive into the pits. Oh, you cheeky little man, cheeky boy!
No, stay out, stay out, stay out. Guys. Feather the throttle if you can hear us, Will.
So this virtual safety car has actually allowed that gap to Nicholas Latifi to get further back, as my TV is just about to turn off.
Driving quite conservatively.
And even with VSC, just Jose is sitting on the gearbox of Holmesy as well. Only 4 seconds behind. I'd like to think this VSC is going to end any second now. And it does, as exactly as I say it.
Yellow flag in sector 3.
Who have we got off? As Gabriel has spun it. Doesn't look like it's got any damage.
What Will doesn't want is a safety car.
That's right. Because that would bunch the pack up too much. And
Will made a mistake because he has lost a lot of time to Latifi there.
5 seconds loss. Come on, sunshine.
We believe in you, don't bottle it. Agilos is out.
As Agilos has DNF. It's just Jose's picked up another 3 second time penalty.
It's retired in the pit lane, so that's fine for Will not getting a safety car.
So now we're into the final 6 laps, and it's the Oprah Winfrey race. Everyone's going to get a point. Everyone gets a point.
Apart from Forza Ferrari, because he's disconnected.
That's very true. So Will's gap is now down to 39. So whatever mistake he made wasn't. Yeah, but Merksy is now only 1.5 seconds behind Latifi, and doesn't seem to be gaining massively. In fact, he's just lost a tenth as Holmesy's dropped down.
Holmesy let Jose.
Say that 3 times fast.
Holmesy let Jose. Holmesy let Jose. Holmesy let Jose. Oh, I did it.
Yeah, so
Couldn't get it right first time. Home did let Jose pass, so I think he just slowed down. He's not in a fight. He just wants to get as many points as he possibly can for Alfa Romeo. And he's got a 21-second gap to Brookaxon. So as long as Holmes keeps it on the track, he will have P5 and a good point haul.
RR silent now, down in P7, 7.5 seconds off of Brookaxon. So barring any incidents, we may see changes, as Merckx is now only 8 tenths behind Nicholas Latifi. He is gaining hand over fist on that Mercedes. Will's starting to lose time as well.
But this would be good for Will if Nicholas and Merckx are fighting hard.
It'd be good for Will, it won't be good for Mercedes. What they don't want is to lose one of their drivers.
That's a good point.
The gap from Latifi to Will Ans is now down to 12.7 as we start on the pit straight, and Merckx, who sets the fastest time 27.259, is 8 tenths behind Latifi and not gaining.
But then the Mercedes is fast in a straight line, but not so good in the corners.
That's right, so instantly Merckx through turns 2 and 3, he's gained 2 tenths straight away.
Yeah. If not more, 3 tenths. 4 tenths.
Wow.
Goes a lot quite deep into turn 4 though, so does lose a bit of time.
So it looks like Merckx in that Red Bull is obviously got more downforce around the corners because he's catching, but then obviously loses it to the power of the Merc on the straight. Let's see, so just Jose's now 9.2 seconds behind Merckx and well off of a podium position unless anything happens. Holmes is 2 seconds behind him in the Alfa Romeo, just having a nice drive. He's got 19.4 second gap to traction, and Silent has made it back up to P7 but still well off the pace there, and Katsu in P8, 4 seconds off. Gabriel 1.5 seconds behind the disconnected Forza Ferrari. As Will's gap to Latifi is now down to 11.2.
Dropping, so maybe he is starting to struggle on these tyres.
Or he was listening to you and he's just feathering the throttle. As Nicholas Latifi starts to go defensive to Merckx down the straight to try and break that slipstream. And we'll see how much time Merckx can gain through turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. So it was at 4 tenths. Will he get better traction and better exits?
No, he's not. Got some dirty air there with the. He looks like his car was going to start understeering to get him back out.
He's not gaining as much as he did on the last lap. He gained a tenth, but then lost it quite quickly. So maybe he's going to struggle to pass. He can stick with him, but he's going to struggle to pass him.
Oh, the Levy goes very deep into turn 5. Merckx is right on his gearbox now.
Coming up through the uphill section of 6-7. And then my favourite corner of turn 9. And Merckx definitely had better traction through there.
It's all slipstream, and it's not very powerful in the wet conditions. You see, everyone's running probably different downforce levels. Everyone's got a downforce level to suit them in the wet conditions. Obviously, has to be higher than what you would normally run in a dry race. That's the closest battle on field. LF1 Gabriel is closing up to the disconnected Forza Ferrari.
As Merckx is gaining, only 2 tenths behind Latifi coming up on the pit straight, and he's got the ERS on in overtake mode. And will he be close enough to make a move? Latifi's
draining his ERS as well.
Gonna go defensive. Oh,
braking zone. Merckx just has to keep it. It looks like he could get a better exit here.
Go up the inside. Oh!
He parks it on the apex. He's still going to have a bit more overspeed, I think. No, Latifi did still managed to maintain a good exit there. So Merckx is going to have to think of a different way, watch what Latifi does, and come up with a plan of action on the last 2 laps.
Indeed.
Whoa, very late on the brakes there from Merckx, and runs into the back of Latifi. So he is getting a bit frustrated, I think.
He's literally sitting on his gearbox.
And this could be a move here.
Could it be dangerous though? Could it be dangerous? Trying to go around the outside and then switch it back for the inside. Will he get better traction? It's very close. Oh, and there's contact. Oh! This is not what you want, boys. That was very... I'd be surprised if Merckx hasn't picked up a small bit of damage there. He's getting very frustrated and very impatient behind Latifi, which is understandable as he rides the curb there through the last corner. And he's only 2 tenths off, but Latifi's got 100% ERS and is going to be draining that battery.
It looked like it was just wheel banging. I can't see any damage on either car, so I think they should be okay.
And they are pace for pace as Merckx goes late on the brakes again into turn 1. Now try and get on the power quicker and take a different line through turn 3, but he's not quite as close as he was before.
This is brilliant for Will. Will is just maintaining this gap now on 18 laps. Very late on the brakes from Merckx and rams us into the back of Latifi, and that could possibly be damage.
And then just riding off camera, it doesn't look like there's any damage, but then the camera can be deceiving. As Gabriel has now passed the disconnected Forza Ferrari. Merckx picks up a 3-second time penalty.
I think he has got damage because he looked like he got a hell of a lot of understeer through that corner there, which is why he picked up that penalty. So he's going to now back off, I think.
Back off and settle. You know you can't pull out a 3-second gap in... Well, it need to be 5 seconds now. You know you're not going to pull that out. So rather than risk the chance of a podium...
Yeah, he had his chance, and I think he realises he missed out on that. I think he has got damage because he's starting to drop back quite a lot now. And this is great as Silent picks up a time penalty. 6 seconds now, but the driver behind is 10 seconds, so he should still keep P7, sorry. And Will starts the final lap of the race in P1.
So very smart drive from Will there. Got those tyres on as Gabriel picks up a 3-second time penalty. Got the tyres on and made them work. Had the advantage over his own teammate, so got and managed to get out in front and build that gap. Luckily he didn't take that gamble that you were thinking of diving in the pits during the VSC.
Yeah.
So then he's just had to manage that gap. He had quite a big gap, so rather than risk it, he's driven it nice and smoothly. A couple of little mistakes here and there, understandably.
You probably won't mind me saying this, but he hasn't been the fastest driver on track today. But he's been the most consistent and the smartest.
And that wins races. That does win races. Yes. And that's the most important thing. As Merckx has dropped 5 seconds back, he's not pushing anymore than he needs to now. And both Mercedes drivers, the only two to not pick up penalties of all the finishers.
It's a great start under Mercedes management of Will to get a win and a 1-2.
So as we come round the final corner on board, and we ride on board with Willans as he crosses the line for his maiden victory in RFL. Well done, congratulations, as his teammate crosses the line behind him, and then Merckx, not far behind, crosses the line for P3. Just Jose comes across with P4, another good finish for McLaren, and then Holmes is going to bring it home in P5 for Alfa Romeo. The Ferrari of Pracaxons, but he's got Silent right on his tail, but he's got lots of penalties, so Silent doesn't want to risk it. Don't do anything dangerous. You've got 6 seconds of penalties, so the Ferrari of Pracaxons is going to come home in P6. Silent's going to finish in P7, and then Kautsu's going to be the next one to cross the line, finish P8, and then the final of the finishers, Gabriel, who's currently fighting with Forza Ferrari, the AI of Forza Ferrari, should I say, as they come round the final corner, and that will round out. Forza Ferrari will, on the screen, finish P9, and Gabriel finish P10 with that penalty. But we'll see if anything's said there. What an interesting race, surprisingly. Less safety cars than I was expecting. But as we watch Willand on the podium there, taking some more points for Mercedes, bringing them home. So an excellent call there from Willands to put those those intermediate tyres on at the right time, and well done to him. So let's just take a look at the classified finishers. There we have it. Good points round off for Mercedes. Red Bull in P3 with the additional fastest lap point. Another good points haul for McLaren as well, with a P4 and P7 finish, and Ferrari with a P6 and P8. So, Van Rocco.
We've got Zach Brown coming into the party very shortly. Just a second. Got to find one. Where is he? Oh, for goodness sake. There he is. And I'll get Willands in here as well while we wait for them both to join us. I don't know where anyone is on this list, that's all. Right, so we've got two people coming to join us, team principal of McLaren and Will, so let's see what happens. So yeah, driver of the day for you, definitely me, Willands.
I'd agree with that. Like you said, he wasn't the fastest driver, but a nice, consistent, smart drive.
Yeah, here he is, he's joined the party, welcome.
Someone Will. Say smart. Let's go.
Were you listening to the stream? Did you listen to the stream?
No, man.
No. Oh yeah, if you were, I said during the race, you won't mind me saying it, but you weren't the fastest driver today. But you were the most consistent and the smartest. So I did pick you up there.
The biggest.
Because that was a great strategy. Big brain time. Who was... Because you went on the Inters at the same time as Holmesy.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought everybody else was on the wets, and then I was like, wait a minute, Holmesy's in P5.
No, it was it's a great call. I personally thought it was too wet. It looked too wet. But as soon as the race restarted after the safety car, you were literally flying.
It was weird, because the whole time Jeff kept telling me to box back for wets, and I just ignored him. It was heavy rain, the track was completely drenched. How the hell the Inters were faster, I do not know.
A lot faster as well. A lot faster. You were gaining about a second a lap on everyone else.
Yeah, it was good, man.
So I saw you made a few little mistakes. Were you starting to bottle it, or were you were they just little mistakes in the wet conditions?
I don't know. I don't remember, to be honest. I went pretty chill for the last. When P2, the Red Bull, pitted, I sort of just went chill then, because I thought the only way I'm going to lose this is if I fuck it up myself.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a good race from you. It's good to watch. You obviously got in a bit. What happened to turn one? You lost a couple of positions.
I just got away really slowly from the grid spot. The McLaren flew like.
It was silent, wasn't it? He got a 5-second penalty for that.
Yeah, no, that was when the VSC was called out. We were side by side and had like the tiniest amount of wheel banging. And then,
right, it said severe collision. I didn't know if
I think it was the VSC. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a glitch. But
who knows? Who knows? We're talking of McLaren. We've got the team principal of McLaren. We've got Zach Darspike in here.
Yep, that's me. Yeah.
So your team got P4 and P7. Impressed with
Yep.
that?
I think we're a little bit frustrated overall as a team. You know, we definitely had the pace to win the race with both cars, but considering that it was wet, you know, and we had the opportunity, but we didn't get it done. The drive-through penalty really killed Silence Race, so that that was the backbreaker of the day.
Yes, it was. We were gutted for Silent because he had some really good pace.
Yeah, he was in a really good spot too. But I think we all would have lost because Will's call to go to the inters, which I potentially was lucky, potentially not. That's up for debate. But he did a really good job after that, so I won't fault him. But yeah, that absolutely killed everybody else's chances because Will was gone, and yeah.
Well, I see Holmesy as a bit of a strategy god.
Yes,
And
that was unbelievable as well.
When I
That
saw
he called
Holmesy
that.
go on the inters, I thought, okay, it's into weather. But then Holmesy pitted straight away after that, and I was thinking maybe he's thinking that it's going to be wet conditions, but then he ended up putting a fresh set of intermediates on.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing.
He wanted to go to the end, so. An intermediate glitch, is that something, is it?
That's an excuse.
It was almost a glitch, but not quite. It's the usual. Mine too. The whole time through, Jeff kept saying that they were the same pace, the wets and the inters, every time I asked. But then, as soon as I came out of the pits, he kept telling me every single lap, box for wets, box for wets. Even on lap 31, he told me to box on lap 32 for wets. So I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, it looked too wet for inters, but it obviously worked. It worked. Everyone who went on inters was flying. So we've got Lactifi in here. Obviously, you had a bit of a battle with SMM Merxy. Lactifi, how did your race go? Or amongst us?
Sussy strats. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news.
Oh, okay.
Pressed inters by mistake.
That's interesting, isn't it?
That's not big brain time then, is it, Will?
Fake news. It's fake news.
He's a fraud.
Merxy, do you want the Mercedes drive next race?
You just dropped your boss in it. Will is your boss, and you just dropped him in it.
That's because I was weighed down by the big rain.
Did you pick up any damage in that battle at the end? Because you dropped quite far back. Yeah, and then you got a 3-second penalty just after that, didn't you? Was that when you got the understeer through 7 and 8? Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that was a good little battle you were lining up there. You did a couple of nice switchback moves at turn 5, at turn 2 as well.
I did get worried you were going to kill each other, to be honest.
Yeah. The only time it looked like you might injure each other was out of turn 10, where you looked like your wheels were about to interlock. Out the hairpin to the left hand. it. It's a good race. Good fighting between you two. So yeah, there we go. I think we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Great stuff and a great race.
Thanks, guys.
So yeah, that was pretty nice, pretty special. Wet race, but typically quite clean. People DNF'd on their own. There weren't many collisions and stuff going on, which is always good to see. And sometimes that pays off, to be honest.
Could you imagine if Cool Guy was racing?
I was about to say.
Ouch.
Oh, wait, is the stream off? He's a very cool guy.
He's not a very cool guy.
Ouch. There would have been only one finisher.
Wonderful. Alright, well I'm going to leave it there. I need to go for my cup of tea. So
Absolutely. Very British of you, sir.
Delta doesn't want to leave it there. He wants to say much more. But...
No. I've made my cup of tea already.
I'm going to go and make one. So yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And we will see you all again next week, where we are off to... Where are we off to next week? Oh, no. Wow. It was a good job. Good job.
It was.
Good job. I'm just going to cut you off there for a second, gentlemen, and we're just going to wrap up the stream quickly, and then I'll leave you guys to catch up. We're still streaming, boys. Everyone can hear you. Right. So that's it from all of us. We'll see you next week here in RFL in Monaco. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow for the NRL debut race of the season. Thank you very much. Good night.